It was still dark when the elderly man rose from his futon. The cicadas were silent. The sun had yet to cast its first light over Ogimi, the peaceful village tucked in the northern corner of Okinawa. He stood up slowly, joints creaking, a soft smile tugging at his lips. Outside, he tended to his bonsai, sipped on jasmine tea, and thought about the neighbors he'd see at the garden today. He was 104 years old, and he had plans. Hello, I am Alloy. And welcome to Audiofybooks, where you will find excellent audio summaries of books in a very easy and interesting way. If you want to learn from new books, do subscribe to the channel. Let's get started with today's book. Let's start with a question you may never have asked yourself, but should. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Not out of necessity. Not because you have to clock in. Not because your dog is barking or your phone is buzzing. But what genuinely fills you with a quiet sense of joy and purpose, your reason for being. In Japan, they call this powerful force Ikigai. It's not just a word, it's a worldview, a way of living so rooted in clarity and calm that it quietly helps people live not only better, but longer. And this isn't theory. In a remote village called Ogimi, people regularly live to be over 100. They live without hurrying, without retiring, without obsessing over material success. Instead, they live with Ikigai, a steady heartbeat of meaning. This book isn't a motivational shout. It's a whisper of wisdom, a gentle hand guiding you toward the life you've quietly longed for. The authors, Héctor García and Francesc Miralles, traveled to Okinawa to understand why its people are the longest living humans on Earth. Their journey unfolded the quiet magic behind health, happiness, and endurance. But here's the real surprise. It's not about better hospitals or high-tech diets. It's about simplicity, rhythm, belonging. Doing what you love, even when you're old and wrinkled and no one's watching. Imagine a life where every day feels worth living. Not because it's exciting or dramatic, but because it's meaningful. Ikigai is found at the intersection of four things: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. But here's the twist. Many Okinawans aren't obsessed with checking all four boxes perfectly. Often, they live joyfully without monetizing their purpose. What matters more is staying active, engaged, and emotionally connected to life. Take Ushi-san, a 102-year-old karate teacher. He wakes up early, does his practice, and teaches kids in his village. Not for money, not for prestige, just for joy. That's his Ikigai. And then there's Kamada-san, a 105-year-old woman who wakes up to care for her vegetable garden. The fresh air, the feel of soil, the satisfaction of harvesting something she nurtured. This is her daily dose of meaning. So how do you find your own Ikigai in a noisy, hurried, timeless world? Modern world? The book gives us gentle tools. Start by observing what activities make you forget time. That's flow. When you're in flow, you're tapping into your purpose. You're not overthinking. You're being. Whether it's painting, coding, cooking, solving puzzles, or playing piano, it's all valid. And here's something powerful. You don't have to quit your job to live your Ikigai. Many Okinawans worked modest jobs their whole lives, fishing, farming, teaching. But they added meaning by infusing their work with community, care, and attention. In their culture, retirement isn't a goal. It's not even a word in their vocabulary. Why stop doing what you love just because of a number? That brings us to another subtle truth from the book. Movement matters, but not the gym kind. Okinawans stay active by doing what they naturally love: gardening, walking, tending to animals, dancing at festivals. Their exercise is embedded in daily life. They don't set aside hours to work out. They live in motion. And when it comes to food, their secret isn't exotic superfoods. It's moderation. They follow the Confucian teaching, hara hachibu, eat until you're 80% full. They eat mindfully. Their plates are colorful and small. Lots of vegetables, tofu, miso, green tea. Rarely sugar, rarely excess, just enough, and always with gratitude. Community, too, is woven deeply into the fabric of their lives. Everyone belongs to a moai, a social group that supports each other emotionally, financially, and spiritually. These aren't optional friendships. They're lifelong bonds. People check in on each other, share meals, laugh together, mourn together. And because of that, they feel less alone, even in very old age. There's also an emphasis on emotional resilience. Many elders lived through war, loss, and hardship, but they carry a serenity that comes from acceptance, not denial. They've practiced the art of finding joy despite the storm. In fact, one of the most striking things the authors noted was how much laughter and lightness existed in the centenarians' stories. They didn't dwell, they danced, even through grief. Let me tell you about one afternoon the authors spent in Ogimi. They were invited to a birthday celebration for a 99-year-old woman. Her friends, all over 90, gathered to sing, drink, and share stories. One of them joked about starting a rock band for centenarians. They weren't trying to stay young. They were proudly being old, but alive. So alive. Now pause for a second. Contrast that with what we see in many modern societies. The older we get, the more invisible we become. Retirement becomes isolation. Life loses structure, and we start to drift. But in Okinawa, elders are revered. They are seen, heard, celebrated, and because of that, they keep showing up with purpose. And perhaps that's the golden thread running through it all, a reason to keep showing up. Whether it's for your garden, your grandchild, your neighbor, or your morning walk, life asks for our attention, and when we give it, even in small, quiet ways, it gives us back a richness that no success or wealth can substitute. The authors leave us with an invitation, not a prescription. You don't need to move to Japan to live longer, but you can choose to slow down, to find flow, to eat more gently, to stay curious, to reconnect with your community, to wake up tomorrow with something, no matter how small, that makes you feel like life is worth it. Because your Ikigai doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be yours. So ask yourself, not in a rush, but softly, as if whispering to a friend, what's the one thing you can't wait to do tomorrow? Start there, and perhaps you'll begin to feel what it means to live with Ikigai.